On today's episode, a long-awaited Cybertruck feature is finally revealed, Giga Berlin's planned expansion moves forward as details are given during local discussions, live object tracking code is found in Tesla's FSD software, and the Model S gets a new paint option and maybe a new type of seat. One of the final features of the Tesla Cybertruck has been revealed as we get our first clear image of the completed front trunk, also known as a frunk. This is actually a pretty big deal because when the vehicle was first unveiled back in 2019, Elon Musk made a lot of big promises about the features of the Cybertruck, and a lot of time was spent focused on the bed of the truck with the power tonneau cover and tailgate and driving the ATV straight up into the back. But the frunk was never mentioned once during the presentation, and up until fairly recently, we weren't sure that the Cybertruck would even have a frunk at all. The steep vertical height of the front end would have made it nearly impossible to open the way that a usual Tesla frunk would operate. And then we saw the Ford F-150 Lightning, and it had the nicest frunk we've ever seen on an electric vehicle by having the entire front end of the truck lift up. It revealed a massive internal space complete with electrical outlets and accessories. It was a big selling feature for the new electric F-150, though clearly not enticing enough to actually sell the truck at anywhere near the volume that Ford had been hoping for. But anyway, this brings us to the Cybertruck, and late last year it started to leak out that Tesla had modified the design to include a very Lightning-esque front trunk opening where the entire nose of the Cybertruck would lift up and create a space that was actually accessible to a person of average to low height. Now we finally have the first clear image of what Tesla is putting underneath that front opening, with all of the finishing touches included, and it's a bit small. Like, there's definitely some space there, probably enough for like 3 grocery bags, though they'd probably fall straight out the front as soon as you open the hatch. I'm not sure what you'd actually put in there, but it does exist. So what's the deal here? Objectively, the Cyberfrunk is a bit underwhelming. It's nowhere near as functional as the F-150 frunk, but let's be practical for a second. The reason that the F-150 Lightning has such a great frunk is because Ford just took a regular ICE truck and stuck it on top of an EV platform, so the whole cavernous space at the front where the combustion engine was supposed to go is still there, which makes for a nice extra feature. The Cybertruck, on the other hand, was designed from the ground up to be an electric vehicle, so it never had a cavity at the front end to begin with. There was never supposed to be much of anything in front of the cabin in the Cybertruck design, and that's what allows them to have a 4-door cabin with over 6 feet of bed space. No other truck gives you that combination, and it's only possible because of the snub-nosed design of the Cybertruck. So, does the Cyberfront kind of suck? Yeah. Was it mostly an afterthought to try and match the F-150? Also, probably yeah. But does that actually matter? I guess that's up to you to decide. On October 24th, local news publication RBB24 reported that Tesla is hoping to begin factory expansion to their Gigafactory in Brandenburg, Germany in the first half of 2024. This announcement comes only a day after discussions with municipal authorities, local residents, and Tesla spokespeople as they gathered to allow the public to raise concerns about the planned expansion. This is the usual process just about everywhere, as large industrial construction can affect residents, and so those people are often given the right to speak up about any objections before allowing a company to proceed with something the locals may not want happening in their backyards. Germany in particular has always been a tougher nut to crack in this regard, with many residents being more active with environmental advocacy than people tend to be in North America. Lucky for Tesla, the factory in Germany is one of the cleanest running facilities in their roster. This particular discussion was one of several planned, each covering a specific aspect of the plant. The session on the 24th was concerning water use and pollution from the facility, and over 1,000 complaints were raised. It's important to remember that in this context, a complaint is the formal definition for any question or comment, so it's very unlikely that all 1,000 remarks were negative, and most were likely made to seek clarification. However, there were of course concerns about the use of water at the Gigafactory. Making vehicles is normally water intensive, and as one of the planned upgrades for the facility is an increased capacity for battery production, local authorities were quick to raise concerns about the amount of water that would be used by the factory once these upgrades were completed. But as we just said, the Berlin Gigafactory is one of the cleanest running facilities Tesla owns. Just a few days before these discussions took place, a report was published in German language news about the amount of water actually used at the plant. Giga Berlin is reportedly approved to use about 1.8 million cubic meters of water per year, but during its first year, it only used about 300,000 cubic meters. That's quite a bit less than their allotment. As one user over on X.com pointed out, a Model Y produced at Giga Berlin uses about 582 gallons of water, while the average pair of jeans needs about 1,800 gallons during its manufacturing process. And this is why, despite the concerns raised by residents and local advocacy groups, Brandenburg authorities from the State Office for the Environment concluded that the points raised were not enough to block this expansion and have formally closed the discussion on water consumption at the plant. To be fair, most concerns seem to stem from some late changes Tesla had made to their documentation, but those changes were found to have only been made to clarify the company's intentions with the new build. And speaking of, Tesla has a lot in store for this expansion. The plans for this project were submitted to authorities for approval way back in July and center around simply expanding the capacity of the site to be able to produce 1 million cars and to achieve 100 gigawatt hours of battery production per year, a huge leap from the roughly 250,000 cars produced right now. Included in the documentation are a new battery testing lab, adjustments to the main press and paint production areas, and a larger water recycling facility. That last one is likely the reason Tesla believes they can build this expansion without needing to apply for more water capacity at the site. The company plans on reusing water from their rinsing stations and even capturing rainwater for use in their cooling applications. The next round of discussions will reportedly center around noise pollution from the site, but that is also not likely to hold up the proceedings, as the facility is located in a fairly industrialized area. The remaining discussions should continue into the new year, but once those are finished, the approval should follow soon afterwards, and then it's on Tesla for the build schedule. And as we've seen from other factory builds, Tesla doesn't like to wait around when it comes to construction. Some new data mining performed on Tesla's full self-driving software has revealed some code that points to the future adoption of several new features, including live object tracking, which means that function could be switched on soon. User @GreenTheOnly posted about his code sleuthing on the Everything app on October 20th and detailed the code snippets that showed the upcoming feature, as well as text-to-speech for navigation and even a karaoke tuner and a few others. Live object tracking is an object on-road system which identifies obstructions like traffic cones, temporary barriers, fallen branches, vehicle collisions, and other changes to roadway conditions not typically marked on GPS. The car then shares that information across the local Tesla network, allowing other drivers to receive a heads-up about the issue and have their navigation systems update automatically. Tesla has been testing this feature since Investor Day back in March with their discussion of a fully integrated Tesla network that shares data at incredible speeds, so it's not surprising to see some code for it already lurking in the FSD program. What this means is anyone's guess, though. The code could refer to an internal testing branch, and it might not ever make it to the customer's hands. But Tesla knows its user base is savvy enough to find these code snippets, and in the past, these discoveries have generally been discussed not long before the actual feature gets pushed to the beta branch, so who knows? Given the code entry for the update containing this code is marked 2023.38, it's likely that Tesla is intending on having live object tracking ready before New Year's, but as usual, dates can change if products aren't ready, and features can be stripped entirely, so keep your eyes peeled, folks. Good news for anyone looking to buy a Model S within the next year or so, as Tesla has not only revealed a new paint option, but some leaked images seem to show that the Plaid version of the luxury EV will also be getting a new sport seat soon. Starting off with the paint option, on October 26th, Tesla quietly updated their site to include Stealth Gray as a customization option for both the Model S and Model X. This color is currently only available for the Model X and S, and only in North America and China. It's also the second new color to be added to the vehicle this year, with Ultra Red having been added back in March. It's expected for this color to be added to Europe's options in the future, likely after the upgrade to Giga Berlin's paint shop at the start of next year. But the upgrade that's getting the most attention right now is this leak of a racer-style sports seat reportedly intended for the Model S. First posted by user S3Perion on Reddit, the chair appears to be a leather or leather-like material with an insert just under the headrest that appears to have a plaid pattern, likely referring to the restriction that these will only be available for the Model S Plaid variant. The image appears to have been leaked from a Tesla service center and came with instructions on how to install it, which lends a certain credibility here. The real issue is that there seems to be some discourse about how cheaply made the seats look, with some users saying that they just flat out don't like the appearance of the new seats. From the images, we can see that there is some creasing in awkward places, and some users have pointed out the stitching is a bit rough. Like a lot of leaks though, we probably shouldn't judge quality from just the image. This could end up being a mock-up for installation on a show vehicle, or look better when installed rather than when it's lying horizontally, and it's possible that the Model S Plaid buyers could request a different seat option. We just don't know yet. As usual, folks, we should remember that leaks are not proof of anything until Tesla decides to make an announcement, but seeing the instructions and a physical object is a pretty credible leak. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please consider supporting us directly on Patreon and hit the like button. If content like this starts to perform well for us, then we can continue to make a lot more high quality videos for you in the future.